I am very pleased to be here today and to be actually participating in this particular session because, in my opinion, it's not only a very current issue, but it's actually a challenge that each one of us who live in this continent needs to be worried about and needs to be working towards finding a solution for it. And in my opinion, it's also the time to effectively tackle this issue and find a solution to one of the major challenges that the refugees are facing in their new home in this continent. I'll be sharing some of my personal experience in the research we undertook in Berlin, in Germany. The research was refugee communication qualitative research, and the purpose of the research was to uncover how government and third sector organizations can make reception and integration services more efficient by better understanding the communication preferences of the refugee populations they serve. I worked with WPP on this research as an independent researcher, and what I will be doing today is giving you a sneak peek actually of the research findings, which will be officially presented next month in November in Berlin. I'll divide my speech into 4 main sections, and the first one will be talking about the communication tools and channels that Arabic-speaking refugee uses in Berlin to access information and access services that the German government is providing. I'll be talking also about the main information gaps as perceived by refugees, the need for a tailored communication strategy for Arabic-speaking refugees, and the role of the civil society in communication. As for the communication tools and channels used by refugees, the good news is that social media is largely consumed by refugees, and they use it actually to find information and to know how to access the services provided by the German government. While the majority of interviewed refugees don't actually watch TV, they don't listen to the radio, and that is because of the language barrier, the first reason, and the other reason is because they don't own a TV. So, yeah. The majority of interviewed refugees also stated that they only trust information provided by official governmental channels. But because they don't know how to get this information from the government channels, they have to rely on other platforms. These platforms are probably people they know, or their friends, or their family members, or refugees who's been in Berlin for longer time than they have, or it could be also Facebook groups created by their respective communities, or also Facebook pages. Thus, I think, from my opinion, it will be very helpful and effective to create a governmental official platform on social media, specifically target Facebook, as an official, or also an official website that needs to be updated and needs to have a coherent and unified message that can help refugees find the information they need. This information should also include information about seeking asylum, accessing services, and in my opinion, the content needs to be translated to the refugees' native language, because otherwise, when they arrive, they wouldn't be able to know what to do. And many refugees stated that the ideal way to communicate important information to them, such as the existence of a website that will help them, or a mobile application that was created by the government to help them, is by giving them this information directly when they go to the first court interview, because this is the only place that all refugees have to go to. So whatever the important information that the government needs to communicate to refugees, it needs to be given to them at that place, because they all have to go there. As for the main information gaps as perceived by refugees and the work toward meeting the newcomers' expectations, One of the many main challenges that face refugees is that there is no one single unified source from which refugees can obtain their information regarding seeking asylum and accessing services. Thus, refugees obtain the information, which are always changing, from many different sources, and that includes, again, social media accounts set up by community, different employees at different governmental offices, also from camp administration, from job center, and from their friends and family, and also from integration schools. Therefore, there is, again, a need amongst refugees for an official channel that is unified and current and up-to-date. One channel that they can go to and get all the information they need. And due to the fact that many governmental agencies and many different governmental agencies have many different communication channels who are, again, specializes in many different fields, a unified message for refugees needs to be provided. And that could be done by, for example, an information agency that can specialize in such thing. The other main information gap is that refugee communities feel that they are not being consulted when it comes to the tools and platforms that are being designed for them. So, therefore, taking into consideration the opinion of communities in each tool that is being designed is a key step to making sure that this tool is actually useful and effective, and is going to be used, because otherwise the refugees might not even know that these tools exist if they're not being consulted about it. For example, when building a new communication tools intended to help refugees access information of their interest as well as accessing services provided by the government, the existence of such tools should be communicated to refugees. Now I'm going to talk about the need for a tailored communication strategy for specific groups of refugees. Building on the previous two steps, there are special needs for each refugee groups, and according to research respondents, some elements that were designed for one community was found irrelevant for another community, and communication strategy should be tailored for different refugee groups, such as Iraqis and Syrians. For example, when the government creates a website or social media platforms intended for refugees, they should consult the refugees about the type of information needed on this platform, as well as the type of tools also on these platforms, such as, for example, a live chat system that they can chat with, they can actually ask their questions to an official, to a public administration official, and get the information they need. And also, in my opinion, consulting influential community leaders who are based in Berlin, because this is where the research was based, who speaks now both Arabic and German is key, because these people are actually working towards filling the gap of communication, whether by doing like cultural initiatives, informative initiatives, and all sorts of issues. So these people are actually the people to ask about the needs of the refugee community. And at last, I'm going to talk about the role of the civil society, which I think is always going to be a vital role, because they can play a complementary role in communication to the communication efforts provided and undertook by the German government. Since civil society organizations are closer to the ground and they know actually what the challenges are and what the solutions could be, because sometimes the solution could be very simple, but sometimes bureaucracy can come into the way, and thus hearing what the civil society actors have to say about it is key. So so there, in my opinion, there should be an ongoing gathering between public administration and civil actors, where they can actually provide them with like findings from the ground and solutions for these challenges. An example is when the government, for example, wants to create a website or a mobile application. Civil society actors who work with refugees can be best to provide advice on this matter, and could help also in communicating the existence of such tool to refugees. In conclusion, I'm very excited to be here, and I think that this issue is very current, and now is actually the time to tackle it. And now it's the time before the non-turning point. So if we actually manage to tackle this problem now and manage to provide the tools for refugees that they feel included, they feel that they are part of their communities, and we talked about it earlier, like they feel responsible for their community and for the country that is hosting them, is now key. And now it's not too late. It's actually the time to do such thing, and solutions can be more simple than anybody think. It could be by accepting volunteers at the public administration offices that they speak both German and Arabic, for example, or it could be by like having a social media platform that is updated and that have all the information. So it can be simple. It doesn't have to be very complicated. So yeah, this is what I have, and thank you all for being here.